Most likely, a vast majority of people who play video games in the current times are playing for the multiplayer component of the game. Companies and game developers caught on to this fact years ago and have really ran with it. Due to this immense influx of video games and the ones who designed them, varying types of these games have risen. Role-playing games, real-time strategy games, first and third-person shooters, simulation, puzzles, and others have all been purchased and enjoyed for quite some time. Often, and rightly so, developers have competed with each other to design the superior version of the game they have crafted. Call of Duty, Battlefield, Titanfall 2, Destiny, and Halo compete for the first-person shooter market, while Gears of War, Fortnite, and The Division have done the same with the third-person shooter market. This competition breeds ingenuity at its greatest and laziness and sameness at its worst. However, what is good to be known here is the idea that a certain video game type has certain unmalleable traits. Call of Duty will never be a puzzle game. Civilization 5 will never be a third-person shooter. If these game developers wanted to change their game entirely, they would bring to the forefront of that game the core aspects and attributes of another game genre. Some of these games have succeeded, intertwining various qualities of various game types into one game. The idea of sameness, however, has been plaguing the video game industry for years now. Not only do many competing games have the same style of gameplay, but many have the same settings, the same weapons or gadgets, the same sounds, and oftentimes these games are the same right down to the very control scheme. There is nothing wrong with this, by the way. You'll never hear me complaining about these things in a way that can convince you that due to these facts, oh, I'll never play Battlefield because Call of Duty went to the 1940s settings as well. The concept of sameness can both make one feel intrigued and bored, depending on the person. What I will say, however, is that you cannot tell me that the feeling of sameness, however aligned with your subjective enjoyment, is not present when you play these games. This leads into my fascination with one series of games who carved into the rock and found a glimmering jewel. The one series that circumvented, in my mind, the video game multiplayer category concept and unbelievably designed a multiplayer game that has made me obsessed. Assassin's Creed competitive multiplayer has been and is sitting comfortably on top of my list of favorite multiplayer games of all time. In this video, we will talk about this game, why it was so amazing, and why it should come back. Just a short disclaimer, by the time I had figured out how to record game clips, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was the game I was playing. I only have 4 clips that younger me recorded at the time of play. So, this video will only be focusing on Black Flag's multiplayer, which is similar to the other, so does not ruin my arguments. And we'll only be discussing Deathmatch, the only game mode that I played at the time, and the game mode I believe to be one of the best multiplayer game modes of all time. Deathmatch is a free-for-all game for up to 8 players, every man for himself. You are an assassin, and each player has a specific avatar that they use throughout the game. This will become important later. The game is simple in concept. You are immediately made aware that
your objective is to identify your target, then kill them.
The bottom right side of your HUD will present your contract, a picture of your target. The picture will grow in magnification, and the pulsing sound of their heartbeat can be heard the closer you are to your target. Additionally, when a theoretical line can be drawn between your head and your target's head without obstruction, this picture will be highlighted and glow in a light shade of blue. The approach bar on top of your target represents the point value of your contract's completion. The default point value has a wide range. You can earn up to 1,900 points for a single murder, but another murder might earn you as little as 50, depending on how creative you can get. We will go over this as well. You will always have one target. However, you will be continuously provided with more targets if that contract is fulfilled in some form of way. You can kill your mark, get killed yourself, or even lose the contract to another player if they have the same target as you and they are able to finish the job before you do.
First blood. Contract lost.
As you can probably guess, if each player has a target, then you are among them. You will almost always start with one pursuer. Their job is to kill you, so obviously you cannot let that happen. Once your assailant is close, you will hear whispers emanating from the environment around you. If you manage to get the beat on your attacker and strike them before they do you, you can stun them and force their contract to reset. You cannot kill your pursuer. However, if you are able to stun them in a public area, you might be able to get their pursuer to assassinate them while they are in their stunned state. You can have as little as no pursuers, depending on your score, to having as much as 4 on you at a single time. To win the match, players must have the highest score, not the highest number of kills. The way to win is embedded inside the prowess of the pursuer and his or her imagination concerning how and when their target is eliminated. Maps in this game mode are relatively small, but this is a good thing. In a game revolving around the idea that stealthy, arguably slow movement, and patience are the keys to victory, then you don't really want to play in huge, expansive maps, where looking for your target becomes a chore rather than an exciting rush. Maps are infinitely inundated with docile, non-competitive AI, each of which inhabits one of the unused avatars that all players can choose from before the game starts. Of course, there are boundaries, but to make up for the rather small proportions of the areas on the ground, maps offer verticality as a way to expand its size. Players can be on ground or climb up buildings in order to get on terraces, balconies, and even rooftops. This verticality adds to the allure of the search, as targets and pursuers alike can be on differing levels of elevation, either making it difficult to spot them in certain situations, or making them extremely open to multiple lines of fire. Maps also come equipped with hiding spots. Small or large crowds, both either moving or remaining stagnant, benches, wagons, or piles of hay all offer sanctuary for those who wish to remain unseen or hidden. Lastly, due to about half the game mode being devoted to defending yourself from your attackers and staying alive, maps also provide special player-initiated avenues of quick escape. These are called chase breakers. While running, you can bolt through a doorway that will immediately shut behind you, or you can dash out of a window that closes just after your passes through. The maps are cleverly designed and made in such a way that, after you learn them, you can better plan the assassinations of your prey, or become more fluid in the escapes from your assailants. The way you assassinate your target is what will determine the number of points you will receive for that kill. Killing a target from one of the hiding spots that was mentioned earlier will grant you twice or sometimes 3 times the score of a murder that took place out in the open, so to speak. The method you use to kill them also matters, as you can not only slash them with your hidden blade, but you can also shoot them from afar with either guns or poison darts. The approach bar above your target provides a way for one to read into the attributes of your score in real time. As long as your target remains highlighted and in view, this bar will rise. The height of the bar provides you with more points for your assassination, as the longer you have kept them in your sight, the longer you have been in theirs. Due to the player not noticing you or your movements toward them, your kill is superior, and you have finished the job without ever alarming your target. Good shit. Alternatively, this bar can slump if you run while your target is in view. Any actions that a normal person might say is odd, like running in a public area randomly, throwing knives at people, killing civilians, and, of course, running and jumping up a building, will offer your target a chance to quickly press a button and lock onto you. giving them the knowledge of your location and revealing your identity. Kills made while this bar is low will offer little points, as you did not keep yourself, your identity, and your position secret while carrying out the job. Many times, even if you perform a successful assassination afterward, having a low bar and performing actions that might reveal you to your prey will result in a contested kill. Contested kill scores earn score dividers and are cut in half, devastating the value of the assassination. Perhaps the most impactful mechanics in the game are your perks and abilities. Perks like Blender, for example, will provide you a way to have a civilian immediately morph into your lookalike once you enter their blend circle. Another perk, Determined, will ignore the score divider on contested kills, a no-brainer to me when victory is your primary goal. Abilities, on the other hand, make monumental differences in gameplay and are largely the most fun component of the match. One ability, Morph, allows you to turn a rather nice number of civilians into your lookalike, throwing off your pursuers and even your target. Now, both of these parties have work to do in order to verify which lookalike is you. We will go over the various strategies of gameplay shortly. Another ability, Disguise, allows the opposite. You are immediately turned into one of the lookalikes of the AI avatars in the field. Now, pursuers are seeing a picture of a target that theoretically no longer exists. This ability is as amazing on defense as it is on offense. My personal favorite, however, was Bodyguard, a heavily defensive ability. Bodyguard will, after activated, approach a locked-on pursuer and stun him without revealing your identity or location. This was amazing, and if played correctly, one could utilize this ability to both aggressively defend against pursuers and even lure your target out of hiding to a place of your choice. To perform effectively in this game, the process of elimination is the way to play. Let's go over an average moment of both offensive and defensive gameplay from one of my clips to see how one's mindset works during a match. I have just respawned after getting killed. I am in the lead with more than 2,700 points. Notice that earlier in this video, I explained how running while in your target's or your pursuer's view will reveal your location and identity. But here, I have no target or pursuer. I am free to move as I like, and this is a perfect time to get into a tactically advantageous position in order to set myself up for either offense or defense. Now that I have been given a target, I stop running and immediately get into a location that offers the best field of view for surveilling the map. Not only have I got myself into a great position, but I have actively prepared my defenses for the inevitable attack by my pursuer or pursuers by morphing a nearby crowd into my lookalikes. Planning ahead makes all the difference and can set you up for great plays down the road. Up until this point, my target has not been in view, but with the amazing sightlines my spot offers me, I know that my target will eventually come into the wide market center of the map. All I have to do is wait. She's in view. Now to look for her. Got her. I'm locked on and I'm ready to go. It seems that I have gained a pursuer. This changes things. In order to maintain my lead, I have to be able to navigate through the map and kill my target without getting killed myself. If I do die before I eliminate my target, I not only lose the opportunity to earn points, my death provides points to my pursuer, and I could possibly lose the lead. I understood this, and I also understood that the distance between my target and I is a little too large, and the area I would have to cover is wide open, with little amounts of civilians and no chase breakers in the vicinity. I think about how exactly I will close the distance. I have just lost the lead. But with a bit more than half the game left to play, I don't take this placement as seriously as I would later on. I have some time, and I'm going to use it. Now was the perfect time to chase down my target. I have only one pursuer, my approach meter is almost full, I have the opportunity to gain back the lead, and with some time left to play, maybe the risk is worth the reward. Before I do so, however, I need to make sure that there is nobody close or waiting for me to reveal myself. Remember, with my lookalikes all in proximity, nobody knows which avatar is actually me, and could be watching and waiting for me to leave in order to pinpoint my identity. I take a quick look around and decide now is the time to go, but then, in one fell swoop, my pursuer count has tripled, and now I have 3 players coming after me. Going after my target is no longer an option. I am forced to be patient and play defense. One of my pursuers has just been killed by their assassin. Although this is nice, I still have 2 players coming after me with wide open space on all sides. Whispers. At least one of my pursuers is close by. My approach meter is now completely full, and it seems as if she has absolutely no idea that she has been in my sight for the past 30 seconds. In addition, I am not close enough to have my whispers come into her point of view, but I cannot move now. My pursuers are close, and I have 2 to deal with. Again, I am forced to wait. An avatar is traveling alone, and is the only one of his kind on the field. This is suspicious. I should keep an eye on him. Simultaneously, one of my pursuers has killed a civilian. This player most likely believed I was using a disguise, as one can know that on her screen, my picture must have been glowing blue, as a line can be drawn from her head to mine. But with all the mechanics of this game colliding in one moment, she must have been ignorant to the fact that my picture was not magnified or pulsing. She has made a mistake and revealed her position. In this moment, I believe I know that this guy is one of my pursuers, but with the revealing icon offering me a chance to snag the identity of my second pursuer, it is worth leaving him alone for a moment while I see the avatar of my second attacker. Now I know the identity of at least one of both players. I now turn back to the more immediate threat. In my mind, I am desperately waiting for him to make his move. You can imagine the kind of stress this must have caused him. He's so close to his target, but with 4 lookalikes all within the vicinity of each other, he's so far away. Keep in mind the genius of my position. One can morph all the civilians into one's lookalike all goddamn day, but you must think like your prey. If you are elsewhere on the map and your attacker sees one of your lookalikes, how do you know that his picture of you is glowing? How do you know that it is magnifying as he gets closer to them? The way to play the morph ability is to have lookalikes around you that actively confuse your attacker. If you take his point of view into account, assuming he is my assailant, then my picture is glowing blue. If he advances upon my lookalikes, the picture of me will also magnify. This verifies to him that I am indeed here, but he remains completely ignorant as to which one is actually me. The one I believe to be my attacker has gotten up and left his position. Either he has quit trying to decipher which one of the lookalikes is me and is waiting for me to make a play toward my target, or he is attempting to defend himself against his pursuer. Either way, this is a great moment to eliminate one of my attackers and go after my target, as my approach meter is still full and a lot of points are waiting for me. I lock onto him and use my bodyguard ability. A civilian close by will be immediately morphed into my lookalike and will seek out the locked target and stun him. What? It wasn't the first player at all. But the ploy still worked. My pursuer believed my lookalike bodyguard to be me and attempted to kill me. Now, even though my bodyguard wasn't able to stun my attacker, I am still in a position to stun him myself, as my second attacker from earlier is nowhere to be seen. The coast is clear. I have stunned one of my attackers and the second has just been killed by their pursuer. I have no assassins after me and my target is in view. Time to move in. This clip is just a small dose of the strategic and tactical thinking that goes into playing this game. You are perpetually under pressure to get kills and earn points, but also under constant danger of getting killed yourself. It takes time, but if one plays smart enough, one can learn to think like one's prey and act accordingly. Although I made a mistake earlier with the identity of one of my assassins, it clearly shows the mindset one must put themselves in when actively defending against a threat. Conversely, when on offense, sometimes a straight advance towards your target is not the correct play, and patiently striking when the moment is right will earn you your points, and hopefully, the game. Casting itself over all the other reasons as to why this game was so amazing is the notion of how realistic the ideas employed really are. Consider yourself, in the real world, a hired assassin. Your employer provides you a picture of your target and a location in which he or she will be present for a certain amount of time. Your job, obviously, is to eliminate this target. You would, presumably, hold the necessary skills in order to do so. You would be trained in hand-to-hand combat, climbing, and scaling multiple different surfaces and objects, and even be a master of utilizing various tactics, strategies, tools, tricks, and deceptions in order to bring your contract to its completion. One might employ disguises in order to remain elusive to the possibility that your target might be on to the idea that a certain somebody is after them. One might employ poison to assassinate their target, choosing a less bloody but more stealthy solution to the job at hand. The reason why poison is worth so much in the game is the same reason why poison is such a fantastic way to eliminate another human being in the real world. Less blood, more mystery, no witnesses or suspects. Perfect. One might even utilize a gun to get the kill. In the game, firearm kills earn you very little points, and this makes sense in the real world as well. A loud noise, an obvious cause of death, a crowd of witnesses, and a suspect that has been seen carrying firearms in an area that they do not belong in. That's a risky move for one to take for such an important task. Lastly, say you are an assassin closing in on your target. You are creeping so steadily near, and you know in your mind that you are this close to fulfilling the contract and earning the paycheck and notoriety. Just before you go in for the kill, your target suddenly drops dead, either by blade or gun, and you are left staring at your lifeless prey. What to do next? Well, theoretically, you know that you will have to return to your employer and confirm with them that the target has indeed been eliminated. Although you were not the assassin that murdered the target, you can still declare to your client that you verified the kill yourself by forcefully finishing them off with a method of your own. This variant of multiplayer needs to come back. Not only because of its exciting and strategic gameplay, not only because of its competitive atmosphere, but also because the concept is so fresh and unique. With the last installment of Assassin's Creed having competitive multiplayer being Black Flag, Ubisoft needs to return to the drawing boards in terms of their new titles and resurrect the amazing and addicting multiplayer they fostered and designed themselves. I know there are people who are watching this video who either know of its greatness or are just now realizing it, but we need to put it out there that this type of multiplayer is what the market needs. I genuinely hope I have given the game its due with this video, and I very much hope that you have enjoyed taking a look back at Assassin's Creed competitive multiplayer with me. Let us now hope together they bring it back in the future. If not, I'll see you guys next time.